Didn't start with you.
This is mine.
Oh, hello, how are you? Hiding. Nope, that's mine. That's yours.
I got one.
I got one.
Good evening. Welcome to the Board of Selectmen's meeting Tuesday, September 2nd. Ask everyone to please rise. Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. I will entertain a motion to approve the Selectmen minutes, 2 sets of 8-5 and 1 set of 8-13, one being executive on 8-5. So moved, sir.
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Entertain a motion to acknowledge the minutes from the ZBA of 8-13. So moved.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Brookfield School Committee vacancy. There is a vacancy on the Brookfield School Committee to fill an unexpired term until the next annual town election. Candidates should send a letter of interest to Superintendent of Schools, Tantascwa Regional School Department, Union 61, at 320A, Brookfield Road, Fiskdale, Mass. 01518. Attention, Deborah Grimaldi. Applicants must be registered voters in the town of Brookfield, and the deadline for applications is September 9th, 2014. After that, the school committee and the select board will make a joint appointment. Deadline for state primary absentee ballots, Monday, September 8th at noon is the deadline to request an absentee ballot for the state primary election. Tuesday, September 9th is primary election. Polls open at 7 a.m. and close at 8 p.m. For more information, contact the town clerk at mseery@brookfieldma.us or call him at 508-867-2030 or extension 12. Before we move forward, do we want our administrative assistant to send a reminder Monday that state primaries to the robocall?
Oh, might be a good idea.
Yeah.
I'll entertain a motion. So moved. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Time, message, noontime, Monday?
Yeah, meantime Monday.
Just basically what was
Yeah.
just read here. Well, actually, no, because this was the absentee ballot. Just to remind people, primary day is tomorrow,
Yeah.
polls when they're open, where it's located.
Noontime's a good time.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any other announcements? Hearing none, public access. Anybody wish to address the board this evening? Welcome, sir.
Good evening.
Evening.
Don Taft. I was here last week and mentioned that the Lake Association would like to put in the picnic tables and benches, one or two at each beach or boat ramp. I did get your letter with the liability issue. Thank you. I think we're having a meeting with the state sometime this week. When that's done, I will give you a sketch of where we think we can put benches.
Do they have an issue?
They do not, but we contacted them because state boat ramp, and we just want to be sure that, you know, we comply with everybody's requirements. Actually, there's a bench guy and there's a picnic table guy, so we're meeting with the bench guy this week.
Of course.
But anyway, just to let you know, when we get that worked out, we will we'll submit a sketch to you, probably a cut sheet of the bench, and for your review. All right, great, thanks.
Anybody else wish to address the board this evening? Agenda 1, we have 8:35 poll hearing. Do we have a representative? Oh, 6:35. Did I say 8:35? It's been a long day, ladies and gentlemen.
6:30.
What do you have for time? I have 6:33, so we'll wait 2 minutes. The representative is coming, correct? All right, so let's move to items that'll go a little bit quicker. Item number 3, Apple Country Fair.
Yeah, that's 4.
They get 2 threes.
Oh, 2 threes.
So it is number 4, you're correct. It does say 4 on the agenda, so let's change 5 to other. We have a request from the ACF coordinator, Mr. Pierce, the basic standard request that he asked for. I will entertain a motion to restrict state licensed hawkers and peddlers for the day of October 11th on the following streets: Central, Common, Lincoln, and Route 148 from Route 9 to the Railroad Bridge. Restrict parking as follows: allowing parking only on the Common side of the street on both Common and Lincoln Streets. Provide the usual police duty, hopefully within the community police grant if available, which I don't think even exists anymore, does it? Prohibit the use of skateboarders and bicycles on the Common and the Mall during fair hours from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Review a traffic flow plan with Chief Blanchard that might use one-way travel, as in last year's fair, to alleviate the usual congestion during a busy day.
So we need a motion for all that, sir?
Correct.
So,
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Police station insurance costs, it's not in here.
Right, because what happened is we didn't get anything back from, Mrs. Washburn was working on that, and Larry was, sent anything back, so. But that's why we need confusion with the agenda.
It is 6:35. Was there an individual coming for the poll hearing?
I confirmed it last week, in fact, he's the one that requested that time, so.
So we'll hold off on that. Corey, item number 2. Anybody here wish to discuss Corey issues? Hearing none. Anybody here wish
Yes.
to resolve it? Are you capable of doing that this evening? With one fell swoop?
Yeah, since the treasurer offered to do them, so I think just about everybody handed in the Cory checks and
Yeah, I had a discussion
it's been
with her.
resolved.
I had a discussion with her. She's going to go through them all and then get back to us on that.
Yeah, and she said that she would instantly delete it, so there wasn't a problem with that kind of paperwork hanging around.
Which was the intent.
no paperwork hanging on.
No paperwork.
There still is paperwork. The permission slips have a lot of information on it, enough for you to do identity
But they're
theft.
going to
have that anyways.
But they're going to be
We
locked.
have this.
They're going to
We
be
have
locked,
that.
correct? Did you have a discussion
That's
with Sandy?
she said it was going to be locked, and but you've got to understand, in the past we've had problems with a computer being taken.
You're preaching to the choir. I respect the questions, and we've been trying to work through it. My desire is that you and your, I don't want to say crew, but your teammates and people that
Right.
protect this town are satisfied with where we're at.
Right, and it seems like they are, because they felt that she gave them assurances and was nonpartisan and said she'd handle it.
Thank you.
But,
Thank them through us.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, and I have full confidence in Sandy that she will do a good job.
I
Yeah,
have confidence in Mr. Thomo as well.
And I had
FYI.
confidence.
You
in
can,
I'm going to be
but
confident.
okay. But there were just questions for clarification. I didn't mean to be confrontational with you, but when we're, as a department head, we have people come to us and say, they're concerned about this and concerned about that, and they asked me to ask, and they asked Chief Martell to ask the questions.
You just want to say Peter, don't you? You don't want to say the Chief Martell. It's not out of disrespect. It's
No.
just that camaraderie, because I catch myself doing the same thing.
He's my chief on the fire department. He calls me chief on the ambulance, so we equal out. But basically, it seems to be resolved that. But it would be nice for the next time. I know these Cory checks are good. The papers are work for
5 years. The way the
But-
policy is written is every 5 years.
Okay, but the
New
Cory,
hires is
yeah.
5 year.
But the one thing we signed should have a name of who's going to be running on it, or who's running it, written on it, and there's still some things that should be clarified.
Have you worked on
in
those
the
with
future.
Sandy?
With Sandy, yes, but it'd be nice if it was in writing too.
Because Herb had made the comment that there was some old treasurers' names floating around on some paperwork, and I reached out to her immediately. She said she didn't see that. So.
Some old what?
Treasurers' signatures and names
Oh,
like
I
Jim
didn't see it.
Dunbar. And
Well, I know on it, when they searched back who wrote the document, it said Donald Duck, so someone was being funny. But it doesn't add security to you when you have something like that. But any questions?
We're good, Don.
Okay.
You're good, Don.
I have something to be,
In regards to Corey?
it's a letter of packet from the library.
Thank you,
I
ma'am.
really don't need to answer the question.
Can you just briefly give us a,
Well, I think the letter pretty
well,
much.
this is the first time we're seeing it, so can you give
Yeah,
us
well,
a
we
synopsis?
just put it together because we just got wind of it.
It has come to our attention there is some question regarding the Board of Trustees authority at the public library in reference to our establishment Corey accounts. The Board of Trustees established Corey accounts in 2007. We approved this policy to have one account for the employees of the library, one for the volunteers. These accounts have been managed by Sally Brown, chairman of the trustees, for the past 7 years. So Sally Brown's running your Corey's?
I can't answer that.
Okay. The Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners have supplied the trustees with a handbook clearly stating the Board of Trustees' responsibilities to the public library. We've attached an overview of the Massachusetts general laws of legal responsibilities and policy making for your clarification. The Board chooses an employee to know for more information. So if you want more information, you contact. It's signed by all the chair, secretary, and members. Comments?
You can't ask any questions, I guess.
Well, we
Well,
meet
can.
Monday,
She
we
can always-
meet Monday
she-
night.
She can
next-
always bring questions back to the board.
But as far as who's doing the checks, we don't know who's doing the checks. Are they being done?
It says right in the letter how they've been done.
Well, there were a couple of questions. The Board of Trustees established Corey accounts. We approved the policy to have one account for the employees of the library and one for volunteers. So according to this is an assumption the employees and the volunteers are being Corey checked, and it's been done for the past 7 years.
Yeah, it has.
Nick, as that HR designee, can you reach out to Ms. Brown
Absolutely.
to see if we're good?
Yep.
Obviously, we don't need to micromanage the department.
Can I see the letter?
You can actually have, did you have any questions?
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you,
You're
ma'am.
welcome.
Remind you. No, apparently he doesn't want to be part of the conversation, and I don't know if anybody here from Martin Road is here, but we can have that discussion. He duly posted it, correct? The liability was on him to post that?
He told me that it's up to Verizon.
Are you sure it was
No,
posted?
actually, it was not my responsibility to post it, absolutely, because I was.
Do you want that, Nick, or do you want me to put it into the pack? If you're gonna contact him, you might want to. Alright, that was the question.
Yeah.
I will open up the public hearing for the poll hearing. There is a petition. Apparently it was duly posted. If we find that to be the contrary, we'll have to rescind our vote this evening. There is a petition for a poll on Martin Road. I'm extremely skeptical that this was done correctly if he's not here. So
Okay, well,
You should probably just pass over it then.
we can't.
We can't?
Usually they're not well attended. Poll hearings and tree hearings.
my first question was whose responsibility was it to post? And it was not ours.
We have documentation that they posted it.
Talked to him once, he called, he either emailed or on the phone, he said that's the time he wanted.
All right, so I'm going to entertain, is there anybody here to speak on the poll on Martin Road? All right, so this board, I'm going to entertain a motion to approve the poll location with the understanding that it was posted correctly. I think that covers us.
You don't think we should table this?
Yeah.
I think it's time sensitive. He wanted it placed.
Can we?
He requested it was placed as
I
soon as
think there's
possible.
a few copies in here.
Well, that'd have to be signed. Actually, you know what, let's back up a step before we entertain a motion. We want a motion for a hearing, don't we? We'll entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
Yes. So moved.
I'll second that.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
So the next motion will be to entertain a motion to approve one poll based on the fact that it was posted correctly.
Because I'm the one who has to sign.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah. And then these get passed on to the town clerk.
Well, before we sign anything, we need a motion.
Oh.
I'll make a motion.
Do we have a second?
The clerk to sign off on this.
I'll second that motion.
Do we have discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You're the one that needs to sign.
Yeah.
On the back of the back of the first page, there's places for three of us to sign too.
Oh, yeah.
Start signing, my friend. On those all the copies?
Yeah.
One has to sign the front of all of them.
Yeah, I have to sign this.
You keep it moving through the meeting, all sign, right?
Yeah.
Are there any else? Can you get that folder with the cover letter as well? Get Linda to sign all these. Entertain a motion to adjourn the public hearing.
So moved.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
The other section was taken care of this morning. Correspondence. Excuse me. In order, special town meeting request from Chief Martell. There is correspondence that through inspection, his ladder one had failed. There are replacement costs, compressors, batteries, and so on. And his forestry 2 is out of service. Chief, can you come to the table, please? Evening. You forwarded these requests to the advisory committee as well, correct? Or is it just something?
No, because
But they
just to you at this time, because I know nothing definite's been done about a fall special. I know it's been bantered around a bit.
But I believe they were aware of it from the last
I-
conversation they had.
I believe so. I think I may have forwarded the original email off to them just as a courtesy, but I just went through you guys initially,
Can
so.
you forward these two emails to the chair of the advisory committee, please? Just an FYI. Forestry 2, have you placed that out of service yet, or
Yes.
do you need a vote by the board to do that?
No, I just took it out of service, just a matter of course, what we found on it. Either the items need to be addressed and taken care of, which would request funding, but for a 1986 former highway truck, and it's been on the capital improvement list for 2 years now, we haven't had a chance to act on it, and all we'd be looking for on that would be a chassis in the neighborhood of mid $30,000 range.
You don't have to take it out, you can continue.
Oh, no, in terms of surplusing it or anything like that, we can wait until there's no point to it because it's the truck itself. When we get a new chassis, we're basically going to cut the body off of it and put that on a new chassis, so we're not going to be spending nearly as much.
That's practical.
Yeah, very much so. So at this point, trying to get rid of the chassis would be moot because then I need to find a place where I can basically balance the chassis. It's sitting on it now. You know, I mean, there's no point in taking all the tools or anything off it for weight. It's just there. We've taken what we need to make do. If it had to happen, this is the best time of year for it. We may have a fall brush season, but that's up in the air right now. So,
Okay, so this board is aware, advisory committee, I know they're aware, but we'll make them aware.
Okay.
Any questions for the chief? No. Thank you, sir.
very good.
Charter Communication, they are going to completely digital, adding, they started off with adding 80 new high-def channels, but then they get you, you need a box now. You're going to need that conversion box. You can visit their website at charter.com/digital-now, all one word, digital now, or call them at 1-888-GET-CHARTER. That's 1-888-438-2427. Or Mr. Cohan, you can call him at 508-595-5457 or contact him via email at tom.cohan@charter.com if you have any questions. And then this will be filed in the selectman's office as well. I believe they're sending out letters as well to charter subscribers, so information all the way around. We have a request. This was just in today. I got the phone call. I reached out to, I apologize if I'm mispronouncing the last name, Miss Hugh. Heather, she's requesting, Huff? I knew I would get it wrong. Thanks. I actually called her. She's going to get back to me. I made the possible suggestion that we might be able to use upstairs for a meeting room to see if they need ADA accessibility or not, because they fall into different groups. So
How many people are we looking at?
10, from what I'm seeing, 10 girls and 2 troop leaders. So she's going to get back to me on that.
What did the date again on that?
Well, this is where it's at. It's time sensitive. It will be starting on September 17th. There is an AdCom meeting here scheduled, I believe at 6:30. So I will entertain a motion to allow them to either use the kitchen or upstairs if they're legally able to.
So moved.
I'll second that.
And they're going to need that every other week on Wednesdays.
It's warm enough, I think, in the kitchen.
I hope so. If we have to move tables, we can do that.
We need, yeah.
Whatever we have to do to accommodate them. But my ideal,
So that's for the foreseeable future then, right? Every other week?
it doesn't say.
No.
But I think it's a good thing. All in favor?
Aye.
Just received a request from the chairman of the Cable Advisory Committee. They've tentatively scheduled a public hearing to take place during the next Cable Advisory meeting on Thursday, September 25th at 7 p.m. Need to place a legal ad for this meeting by the end of the week in order for it to run on time. Second required public hearing to review and discuss the proposed Charter Comcast subscriber swap is tentatively scheduled for 7 p.m. on Thursday, October 23rd, which they will place a legal notice for that hearing in the first week of October. Basically, this is an FYI for us, at the same time letting us know that they really have no money for those ads. Approximately, I believe it was 500 for that, which we could address at a special town meeting, but they're requesting us to take that out of the selectmen's budget. And she is going to reach out to the accountant to see if there's originally I guess there was a $12,000 account, but not an account, but money allocated, and
Is it still exist then?
I'm going to say no. From what I've heard, what she told me, there is no legal line item for it.
No,
But
let's find out.
if
Let's
the
find out.
town allocated $12,000 for it, it should be somewhere.
Yeah,
Unless you got.
Sharon.
Do you want to speak? Yes, ma'am.
Sharon Mahoney, Cable Advisory. As I said earlier today when I handed you this memo, this is a time-sensitive issue because the Telegram and Gazette has deadlines for their legal ads. And
Does it, not to stop you, does it have to be posted in the TNG, or can it just be locals?
the local deadlines are even more far out
But
than the
do we have to
TNGs.
spend the money for the TNG, or can we just publicize in the weeklies?
It needs to be in a newspaper.
But can we just do the weeklies and save money?
The weeklies, the deadline is even further out than the TNG.
So you're saying we're not going to make the weeklies?
It's very likely we won't unless this is acted on tonight.
Well, it will be, but my recommendation, I don't know what this board feels, to save the money, seeing it's going to come out of the selectmen's budget, is not to advertise in the TNG, just to advertise in the locals, the two locals.
Because they're so much more expensive.
We're not objecting to that. It's just that I'm not sure that the deadlines will work. And that would have to be investigated. And
But you're open to it?
I'm open to it. It's just that it's a logistics question. If you're going to have to vote on this and your next meeting is in 2 weeks.
We're voting on it tonight, that's why we brought it up.
How fast is
Excellent.
that?
So do we have a motion? Do we want to make the motion specific to the weeklies?
Yes.
Unless
I think we
the
should.
TNG,
Yes.
unless they can't for the time issue?
Yes. So move this as far as having them advertised in the weeklies, and if they can't.
Taken out of the selectmen's expense budget?
I should point out that the weeklies may in fact be more expensive, depending on which we do. We will try to minimize the cost and restrict it just to Brookfield because this is germane just to the town. But
So
I
do
don't
we-
have the costs at my fingertips, so I
So
can't
we
say
want
for
a more
sure.
generic motion, Mrs. Thelma?
Yeah,
To allow the most cost-effective,
the least
legal,
expensive, cost-effective.
Yeah, we will make every effort to do that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Sharon.
are you good with the motion? All right, do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
And for my part, I will get back to you, or get back to Karen tomorrow afternoon with the cost and the run times and everything else. This is coming out of your budget, and you are entitled to that information.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Sharon.
All right, any other issues before the board this evening? No?
Oh, and yes, I have an issue here. I got because I'm the representative for the Worcester Regional Planning Commission. I got an email late this afternoon from Trish Settles, and tomorrow they want to make a site visit to Brookfield. The State Executive Office of Housing and Development is considering making Brookfield a town center, a state priority development area, and they're going around to other communities also. And she knows it was last minute, and she'd like to meet here. So I told her I would meet her tomorrow afternoon at 4 p.m.
Oh, thank you.
And she also gave it out to the planning board, and I talked to Sharon, and she's not available, so I don't know if any of the other planning board members might be available for this.
You'll carry our water.
Okay.
And if Sharon needs to report back to her, if you can just stay in communication with her.
Okay.
She can be on this side. Anything else? I did notice a lot of people walk in a little bit late. Anybody wish to address the board this evening? Welcome.
Thank you. I just wanted to offer a couple of quick resources. Okay. The first is I apologize. I understand that the chair of the advisory committee was here this morning with the questions that were actually intended for your leisurely review and response perhaps a week or so from now when we had proposed a joint meeting of the Board of Selectmen and the advisory committee. My understanding is you would prefer that we come to you.
Well, I don't think we really had a discussion. I think we answered a few of the questions that we saw.
Okay.
Not so much just on the paper, but through discussion that you guys had.
Okay.
I think we answered all of them. Dave, are you here? Did we answer all the questions that were proposed at that last meeting?
Well, we're gonna have another host, for the joint meeting, so.
Okay.
Are you meeting before your proposed joint meeting?
No, we're gonna be meeting on the 10th with you, and I'll have those questions.
Well, we haven't set that date. We didn't set a date for a joint meeting.
That's correct. You're
But
gonna get
Beth-
back- You're gonna get back to me.
Beth had sent out the list. I think there was like 6 questions.
I think it was
that you-
5 or 6
that you had
questions.
emailed.
Correct.
I think we addressed all of those this morning.
No, those are just, no, I gotta get them to you.
But we addressed,
A couple of them, yes.
I think, pretty much all of them.
Okay.
Did you see the email, Linda?
Yes, I saw that email.
I don't have a copy, so I apologize.
And that's quite all right. And frankly, I'm remiss because in getting over here, I don't have a copy with me as well. But one of the topics that I understand was covered during that morning meeting was the...
This morning?
This morning, yes. This morning was that you had stated that pretty much everything was taken care of from the state audit and from
I didn't say everything was
Scanlon?
taken care of. I said we went through everything.
Okay.
All the department, if you remember correctly, we had a meeting here. I think Sandy was the only one that showed for that through the treasurer's department.
Okay.
But Jen and I had split all of the questions up through that audit, and we
Okay.
went to each individual department that was responsible for that, and it
Okay.
was either accomplished, no need to accomplish, or they weren't going to touch it.
Okay, so some of
Whatever.
these kind of fall under the selectmen, so what I want to offer you tonight is a copy, and it may not be, I may have left off a few of the last action items from the state audit because I ran out of time. There's a pretty significant amount of time caught up in the generation of this list. It's all of the individual action items as they read from both Scanlon's reports and from the state audit recommendations.
And FYI, the Scanlon audit's going to be hopefully in next week.
Okay, that's fabulous. Okay. Because then we can always add in for consistency state. There may be some redundancy in here. It's just a first pass kind of organization and project list that will help us kind of keep track of what has been addressed and what hasn't, because there's a number of things that, are things like the bylaws that really haven't necessarily been addressed, and I don't know what the plan would be to address them. And it may offer an opportunity to start that dialogue and that communication to the voters as well as to the cognizant committees. Okay, so I just wanted to offer some hard copies to you, and I'll send out a soft copy as well.
There's 3 or 4 copies.
I think there's at least 4 there. So, and then what I also have 4 copies of, I know there's been some apparent, I don't know, in watching a lot of the recent past meetings, it seems like there's been some high energy discussions between the Board of Selectmen, some of the committees, some of the departments. This was actually a fairly old article from the Municipal Advocate, and I just wanted to offer it to you for your review. It talks about creating a civil dialogue with employees, departments, and the public. Okay. Some great resources here.
Are you saying we have an issue with that, ma'am?
I am not. I am saying that there's always an opportunity to improve communications.
Always,
Okay.
chance to improve.
Because I will tell you, no matter how much training I've received, I constantly will receive feedback that perhaps I could be more diplomatic in how I communicate things. Okay, and I'm willing to embrace that feedback, and hopefully, you guys are interested in similar,
More than interested.
similar, tools to try to encourage civil discourse.
So does the advisory board have a copy of this? Because they've had some quite...
I will be bringing a copy to the next one.
It should be laminated and posted on the wall.
It probably should be, okay? It's probably something that and that's up to you. If you all want to make copies and disseminate it throughout the entire town, that's
I'm not a
okay.
manager for your department. That's something that
Okay.
the chair should be addressing, and
Okay.
same with them.
Actually, with a couple of unfortunately significant episodes, it was a fairly civil and successful discourse in recent
And
affairs.
I'm still waiting for that book you promised me in May.
You want me to run over and get it?
No, did you
Okay.
order it?
I did.
No, I'm still waiting for it.
Okay.
You know where I am.
I do indeed. I will drop off a copy. So, but one of the things that it really gets into, and I know that it was a big topic of discussion at least a year or so ago, and I know you guys held a department head meeting today, but I think there's a couple of areas, and part of it, that's one of the reasons why I'm providing the list of the action items, is I know we talk about the stuff is reviewed, the stuff is taken care of, but there's really been no way to kind of close the loop. I'm sure there may have been forward progress even on some of the topics that haven't been actively discussed in the open meeting, such as the campground and such as like tax titles. I know in passing conversations there's been some movement forward and then movement back in how we're dealing with those. So there's some projects out there that I'm sure people are curious about what the status is. So this is an example of a tool that might help with that communication to both the public and the departments. And it's nice because it offers owners an accountability, which I left blank because it's not our role to assign that. That would be the executive's job.
The executive branch is the town borders.
So, okay. Any questions? Okay, and so you guys are still planning on voting on whether to attend a joint meeting with us or not? Is that something you're going to decide tonight, or is that something that's going to...
Well, let's talk about it now.
Yeah, I don't see a problem with that.
Okay.
It'll be a Wednesday night,
Yeah.
So the next Wednesday,
Get the date now.
the 10th,
the 10th.
Wednesday, next Wednesday.
Okay. Because I'm taking off pretty soon, so.
Well, when's pretty soon,
Week after Wednesday.
so you'll be here for the 10th.
Yeah, I'll be here for that.
For the 10th, okay.
And what time?
7 p.m., correct? On the 10th?
7:20, because we're going to do some stuff before we start.
Well, can we do 6:30?
Why don't we start early? If there's going to be
Yeah,
two,
why don't we start early?
No.
why not?
A few people can't make this.
Well, we have to adjust our schedules as well, Mr. Holcraft.
They can just catch up.
Then I guess you have to adjust it.
Can you get a majority of the committee at 6:30?
I would say no. We already discussed that, and a lot of them can't make it till 7.
So a joint meeting at 7?
7 p.m.
Yeah, what we can do maybe we can do ours after. Yeah.
Can you post a joint meeting for 7 p.m.? September 10th?
7 is fine.
Thank you. All right, anything else?
That's all I have.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Anybody else? Did I see a hand back there? Wish to address the board? No. Anybody else wish to address the board this evening? Hearing nobody, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move, sir.
Do we have a second? Do we have a
I'll
second?
second that.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay.